All right, hey, welcome back, Rangers. This is David with Fairmare's Rangers, and I'm going to be discussing all what happened in our battles of our tournament for week one, as we have finished week one, and this is going to be kind of a preview of what's to come in week two, because we got some exciting stuff coming down the pike for the tournament, and this will kind of help just get a little bit of ground established on what's to come, what's happened, all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, we had a lot of really good battles. A lot of unexpected endings happened, and so let's break this down. So, over here on our tournament page, I'll leave a link to that in the description so you can take a look at it. But here you can see the results of how the nations have fared thus far after week one. Now, there's two nations that have not played, and that's because each division has 7 teams in it. So only, obviously, there will be 3 battles of 6 teams each week. So each week, one nation will receive a bye week. And there will be, 14 weeks of battles. And I think it's like 12. Yeah, it should be 12 battles in all for each division. So there'll be a matter of 12 games that they'll be able to get a win and loss record on to be able to get to the top 2 seeds in their respected division. Then the 2 top teams will face off in a playoff from each division. So, for example, if it's Spain and United Provinces, they would battle it out. Whoever wins goes on to the championship. Same thing, Austria, Ottoman Empire, if they're the top 2 seeds, they battle it out, and whoever is the winner from that goes on to play the championship. So, for example, if it's the United Provinces that wins, then they face whoever, like, let's say if it's Austria wins, and then they play the championship game, and then you got a winner. So it's much similar to NFL football and how that works, if you need a reference. So let's discuss the matches, and first we'll look at the records. Coming in with the first division, we got United Provinces, Spain, and the Cherokee Plains and Pueblo, all sitting at a record of 1-0, all picking up wins. Of course, we already discussed France didn't play. The Huron and Iroquois, the United States, and Great Britain all faced their opponents and lost, so they sit with a record of 0-1. Austria, Ottoman, and Marathi are 1-0. Russia did not play. Sweden, Prussia, and Poland, Lithuania sitting with a record of 0-1. Now, for the upcoming matches, round 2, we're going to have these matchups here. So the winless Huron and Iroquois are going to try and get their first win of the season versus United Provinces, who come in at a record of 1-0. So this should be a really good matchup, and this is going to be a home game for the United Provinces. And our next matchup is the 1-0 Cherokee Plains and Pueblo going up against the Spanish, who are sitting with a record of 1-0. So one team will lead this undefeated, and one team will take their first loss of the season. So important matchup here of top seeds in this division. And then we have France and Great Britain facing off. Of course, France did not play last week, so they're 0-0. And Great Britain lost their match last week, so they are 0-1. So one of these 2 teams will pick up their first win of the season. And then on this division down here, the Ottoman Empire, who are 1-0, versus Prussia, who's 0-1. And then you got the Marathi Confederacy will face off against Poland, Lithuania. Marathi is 1-0, and the Polish Lithuania is 0-1. And then you got Russia versus Sweden, and Russia did not play, so they're 0-0, and Sweden lost their match, so they're 0-1. So again, one of these teams will pick up their first win of the season. So that's the matchups for this week coming up. We will have battles starting tomorrow, and we will do this division here tomorrow. So it'll be the Huron and Iroquois versus United Provinces, Cherokee, Pueblo, and Plains versus Spain, and France versus Great Britain, all tomorrow. Then on Thursday, we will have the Ottoman Empire versus Prussia, Marathi versus Poland, Lithuania, and Russia and Sweden will all be on Thursday. So if you're interested in playing in any of these matches, please hit me up on Steam, and I will try to send you an invite to the game, and that way you can participate. So it's first come, first serve. So I hope you guys can be there to join and have some fun in this matchup, as I think it will be quite fun. Now, some of the things I want to discuss on this is some of the matches we got coming up. Especially for tomorrow, we got the Huron and Iroquois. I do expect the Huron to do much better, as the Huron is probably the strongest of the native factions, and the Iroquois, they're on level playing fields with the second best. They're probably the third best of the native factions. So how I would probably rank them, just in my mind, as ease of playing, I would say probably Huron are the easiest to play of the natives. Then the next easiest is the Cherokee. Then after that, the Iroquois is easy to play for players, and then the Plains, and then finally Pueblo. So that would be how I rank the easiest of them to play. Now, whether it results in which nation's better, I guess we'll find out. So United Provinces is a really good nation to play in multiplayer. And why do I say that? Because they got a lot of really good line infantry units to select from. And those line infantry should be able to put up a good fight against the Huron. So this is going to be a really interesting matchup to see who comes out better for this. Of course, United Provinces is the home team, so we'll see what map they choose to take on the natives. Now, the Cherokee, Plains, and Pueblo are going to be facing off against Spain. And in this matchup, again, these natives are going to be facing the home field advantage for Spain. And in the last time that they played, the Cherokee were actually the home team against the British, and they used the Siberian Plateau, and that turned out to be a really good map for the natives to use. At one point, the natives hit the flank of Britain, and Britain didn't even know what was coming. They just shot out of the woods like it was the last of the Mohicans. It was pretty cool. So in this matchup, Spain, I'm sure, is going to want to pick a map that's more suited to the strengths of Spain. And Spain has some really good light infantry with the cazadores, and they also have some really good guard units with the Guardia infantry and the Wallen Guard. Now, keep this in mind: Spain knocked off Huron and the Iroquois, and they did it in pretty good fashion too. I mean, it was a pretty close game. But Spain did take out the Huron and Iroquois, so we'll see if Spain can continue their dominance over the natives in this one. And the next one, we're going to have France versus Great Britain. And in this, France is a very strong line nation, but Great Britain is the second best with their ability to reload, so they can lay down lots of firepower. So this should be a premium matchup right here. Between these two nations. You talk about two of the best here going up head-to-head against one another. Now, Great Britain did lose to the Cherokee, Plains, and Pueblo last week, but I'm sure they want to rebound and get on the right track. Then in the Group B divisions, we're going to have the Ottomans, who had a really resounding win against Poland, Lithuania. I mean, dominating, actually. And they are going to be facing off against Prussia this time. And it's going to be a home game for Prussia. So we'll see how the Ottomans face on a much cooler weather game and see if they will be able to survive. Then we're going to have Marathi Confederacy versus Poland, Lithuania. And again, Marathi was on their home turf last time in the Syrian Ridge, and they dominated in that arena. Now they're going to face off against Poland, Lithuania, who had to face the Ottomans in the Syrian Ridge last time and didn't fare too well. So we're going to see if they can rebound against Marathi Confederacy and get their first win. And then, of course, Russia taking on their first game up against Sweden, who lost last week to the Marathi Confederacy. So one of these teams is going to get a win, and Sweden does bring a lot of firepower. Their light dragoons are the biggest of the game, as they have 75 instead of the standard 60. So they really pack a punch with their cav. Now, Russia is kind of probably one of the most difficult nations for newer players to play in the game. So it's going to be interesting to see how they fare in the tournament. We'll see what goes down. And anyways, I hope you guys are enjoying this tournament, because I certainly am. And I know a lot of the people who are playing them are having a great time in the battles. So it's going to be interesting to see how it unfolds. It can go anywhere from here. Just because a team is undefeated at this point doesn't mean they're going to end up that way. And just because a team hasn't won yet doesn't mean they won't end up as the champion of this tournament. So we'll see how it all boils down and kind of go from there. Anyways, I appreciate you guys for joining me on this short video. And we will see you on the next battles as we get them uploaded, or you can join if you can for some of the battles themselves. We'll see you on the next one, guys.